Welcome to NMP Talk Show, the show that keeps you informed and engaged with topics about your mental health, wellness. The last episode that we had last week, we're talking about sustainable living, and we continue on this show, or that topic this evening. Just to recap for you, we explored how we can live a simpler life, focusing on environmental consideration and lean management. We also delved into practical aspects of building and converting containers into, various uses. For instance, you can convert it into a home, a clinic, or even a studio. So we continue on that. We had a lot of support last week where we had a lot of questions that are coming from you as our audience. And we really appreciate it. And we're looking forward to having more of your questions being asked and answered on the show today. So as we're continuing about sustainable living, today we're concentrating on the practices that is best suitable for our lifestyle, our sustainable lifestyle. And we want to welcome our guest once again, Senzo Madiba. Senzo, welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show.
Evening, Neo and NMP Studio team, and also to your viewers. I'm very, very happy to be here again. Had a lot of traction last week, a lot of questions that we had to cater after the program. And so we're happy to use the space again to carry on with the best practices of sustainability.
Yes, just for the sake of those that only attending today, Senzo Madiba is a coach of mzini.co.za. Senzo, tell us again a little bit about yourself, just to get everyone on board and they understand who we're talking to.
Yeah, thank you. So basically, I come from an SME support background. So in the last few years, especially after the COVID-19, I started looking at how we can do business improvement, lean management. And then I've been somehow life has pushed me into sustainability, because in a long run, that has been what people need to do, work on their needs and improve in what they have, not what they want, what another person have, but how they can utilize what their needs are, and also have a contribution to the society and the environment. So then I've been now, and I still do SME growth support as a business advisor and coach, and sustainability coach as well, where I help people and organizations be accountable for being sustainable, and also as they grow as SMEs.
Awesome. Thank you for that introduction. We really appreciate it. Now that we have everyone knowing who we're talking to, a very skillful man, and you can say a lot about Senzo, and especially about this topic that we're talking about. He lived in one of these containers, and he knows how it feels like. So don't worry about if it's sustainable or it's livable. Yes, it is livable. Yesterday I was driving a friend of mine home, and we happened to see a container, but it was old, and it was never taken care of. But you could see the idea that they were trying to convert it, because it had a window, and I wish they had completed that container or that structure into a home. But you can imagine if places like where there are shacks and they are used as a living area, if those shacks were converted into containers, how beautiful they were. I mean, the internet is full of beautiful designs, and also on your website, mzini.co.za, isn't it, right?
Yes,
you have those designs, and I've seen your page, your Facebook page, also have those beautiful designs. I mean, we could transform a lot of places into beautiful homes, but at a lower cost, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about the practices, Senzo. Since this is the show about the practices, what practices should we apply, especially as a mind shift,
Mm.
into sustainable living?
Mm. Yeah, definitely. There has to be a shift in terms of your lifestyle will have to change to accommodate a sustainable lifestyle. So practices are very important, and this cannot be done by one person. It has to be done as the society or the community, or whoever is living in that environment. So you're thinking of obviously in a lifestyle or in a container living where you're living that kind of lifestyle, but we're thinking now these practices in terms of reducing and minimizing waste that we are using, choosing to use less packaging, and buying on what you need, not just what you want. So now this is a practice, because many of us, we do things because of good marketing, and we get into things that we don't really need. You're thinking of some of the stuff that we use once. Is it possible to use it more than once? Maybe rewash it or resell it to get money out of it. It's now just a different way of thinking of our belongings, and then practicing in a way to be able to conserve it, and also using it in a way that it's to the best of the ability of whatever you're using or whatever you have. So it really is something that's very vast. You're looking at how the stuff that we can discuss is like conserving water, your energy efficiency, transportation, sustainable transportation, supporting things like your food systems, how you buy food. These are just different things that we can minimizing our consumption, our energy use, in our homes. One can just think of small things that they are practicing, but now they are more into it. Now you're living in this container home, or you're living in this lifestyle. You need to practice a sustainable lifestyle. And then you can imagine your family visiting you, Neo, and some of the habits they have, and you are a sustainable person, and perhaps they eat and they waste. Then you tell them, no, this is not what we practice in this house. We are practicing sustainability. The water that we have, don't throw it outside. Throw it in our little garden that we have. We're not using these lights. We're using LED lights because we are connected. Those kind of thinking. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. So basically, you're talking about the 3 R's. Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. That's just one way to start.
Yeah.
There's more into it, but that the 3R is one way that we can start practicing it.
Yeah. So let's expand more on that. I know you explained it, how to reuse, giving a sustainable living by also teaching, your visitors, the parents who are visiting, anyone that's visiting you. But like you say, this is a mind shift. Some are coming from areas that are very affluent, and they don't think about, conserving things because they have the ability, they have the means, they can use it as they want to. But it's not about the expense thereof, but it's the mind shift onto how to live a sustainable life. So let's discuss quickly those 3 R's. How can somebody reduce?
Yeah.
Let's start with the reduce. Yeah.
We all know. I'm just trying to use some practical examples. When we go shopping, it's we know that when we finish shopping, or maybe they by the cashier, the counter, they're going to give us a bag, and that bag costs money. So what we're saying to that, bring your own bag. Bring your own bag. Use that bag. Also, we are now conscious of what we are buying. Now, because we are conscious of what we're buying and what we need, we don't have to buy something by accident. Let's say now you haven't finished your milk, and now you don't have to buy another a box of milk because you need to finish what you have. So that's reducing. You are now conscious of your circumstances, and that's what we try to do to help our clients, is to be very conscious when they go out, what they're going to bring inside the house.
Mm. My wife and I, when we go shopping, she always carry. You know, I don't want to mention the name of the shop that you go by, but they have these packaging that they'll always sell you.
Yeah.
And when we go out for groceries, we have plenty of them. I mean,
Yeah.
I go to the shop one day. Yeah, I go to the shop one day, and then they said, "Okay, do you need a bag?" I'm like, "Oh, I forgot the bag." And I said to them, "You know, I have so many bags. I can actually sell it to you. You know."
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something that we need to consider. So reuse is very important.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
what about recycling?
Sorry, come again?
What about recycling?
Now, recycling is to now segregate, separating the different types of waste. You know, obviously, big organizations, they look at different landfills and whatever they're taking out. But at home, you will know if you have cans, maybe a can, if you have a certain box for it. And then, you know, I remember one day I used to have, when I stayed in this town, there's this park where everyone comes through, you know, and then this friend of mine says to me, I like coming to this park. I said, why we come to this park? And we just have a little session with him and we chat about things in general. He was a little bit older than me, so I enjoyed his company. He says, when everyone is gone, I go and take all these cans from them. And do you know why I always have this expensive whiskey? And I said to them, well, how do you get it? He says, I every can that they have thrown away here, on Monday, I get money out of it. I said, oh.
Whoa.
And I said, okay, that's something I never think about. So anyone can get involved with that when it comes to recycling. Recycling's got money. There's a saying that everyone's trash is someone's cash.
Cash. Yeah.
Yeah. So this can happen in a work environment. It can happen even in a home environment. But people need to know what can they make money out of. There's clothing that we have. Some of us have gained weight. Some of us has lost weight. So we have to now adjust. Do you know that there's markets out there where you can resell your old clothing? You don't have to sell all the time to feel that you're doing something good. Sometimes you can give to someone who needs it. And that, in terms of satisfaction, is just as much as a person where maybe you've sold it. Maybe even more, because there's more happiness in giving than in receiving. So one has to just keep in mind that recycling should not be done by one person, but it should be done by the entire family,
community,
by the entire organization, if it were.
Tressa there says, hi, Senzo. Tressa is connecting from the USA, and she says, yes, recycling is a big business here in America. And on that note about recycling, Senzo, I think also we have this perception of recycling is done by homeless people in our country. I don't know, maybe in the area I'm in, that's what I see, that a lot of people that are doing recycling would be homeless. So it's kind of like linked to not having means that you recycle.
Yeah.
But when Tressa is posting this here on Riverside, it just makes me think that, some of the things, like we're saying, and we're going to go back to it, it's a mind shift that you cannot link something like this to not having any means. Everyone has a responsibility to recycle. I mean,
Yes.
the planet Earth itself recycles itself. The
Yeah.
ocean recycles itself. Like everything that God has created recycles itself.
Yeah.
When we sleep, our cells get rejuvenated. That's recycling.
Yeah.
I mean, I might be wrong. I don't know
No, you're not.
what's a
Yeah.
scientific, explanation on that, but basically that's what it is. So
Yeah.
the moment we move away from the thinking that if you recycle, it means you're a hobo or you don't have the means, then I think we get in there.
Yeah.
And this episode, Senzo, I think you also moved us from thinking when we are talking about sustainable living, we're only talking about containers.
Yeah.
It has a lot of things, eh?
Yeah.
It encapsulates a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you want to react to Tressa's comments there? Are you able to see from your side?
Yes. I think I see that she mentioned that also young people and everyone is proactive in coming to being sustainable or recycling. It's actually a very fun activity when you see it yielding the rewards from it or the benefits. I've seen amazing things that were recycled, and those who do art and so forth, they do amazing stuff from recycling. But it's just because we don't know. The other day we were helping at a hall, and these boxes are coming in because they carry so much of our literature and some of our new furniture that we've received, and we're about to dispose it, and we didn't know what to do. And this lady says, "No, there's an organization that is needy. They need this to do some cards, some creative art and craft for material, and they need this particular type of cardboard." We felt so good that we are now giving it to someone else rather than just throwing it away. So what's the challenge here, Neo, is that we don't know. We don't know that is something that is useful. And that's why we need people to coach us. We need people to advise us. And sometimes we might even need a mentor to help us and say, what, this is what you should do with these particular items. Because what I have in my house, you might not have it, but I might not know the value of it. And also there's a thing called swapping. That is also something that is like recycling, where you we create platforms where we say there's certain things like this, and then are you looking into it? And I mean, the sisters, they do this very well. I think I've heard about it. I know sisters do this, where they go into certain events where they change almost the different types of accessories. They have clothing and so forth. And this is also another level of we could say like a recycling, but it's more like you're taking what you need and discarding what you don't need. But what you don't need, someone else needs it. But you need to put yourself in those environments.
I need somebody to recycle their car. I'm just putting
we
it
can
out
swap. We can swap, but I need to know what car you're swapping.
We can talk later then. So Lungisani, welcome to the show. He says, I'm in construction and I make a couple of thousands of recycling, especially when doing renovations. Whoa, Lungisani, I need to hook up with you.
So Lungsani is my business partner, by the way, for mzini.co.za.
Awesome.
Lungsani, why are you telling our customers our future? What we do? Because we're helping you, but we know what we're doing with those items. We're just putting it away. It's waste. And there's cash out there. Some people have things like copper. Maybe they in renovation. Thanks, Lungsani, for also commenting there. They have taps. They have different types of items that could be disposed to second-hand wholesalers. And, people, they're so excited. oh, I'm building a new house, I'm discarding this, and so on, and they don't know what to do with them. And they're so happy to say, you know what, if you can do it for free, some even want to pay. They even wanted to pay to take it away.
Yeah.
And do you
Wow.
know how much that you're paying for the guy to come and collect it? And this guy's going to, this particular individual will get paid for it. Now, that is something that
Senzo
is
is
a
still
well-kept
there.
secret in the industry. The recycling industry, I'll tell you, I worked in it, is the most, and I know people I can get, I'm going to get into trouble with this. This is one industry that they keep secrets. Because by disclosing it, it means that you will now know what they, and then you're going to start bargaining with them. So they don't want to bargain. Yeah. They even use different words that don't explain what this is. Like, for example, ferrous and non-ferrous. Do you know what that is? Many people,
No.
they don't know, but it's actually metal, steel, and aluminium. All these steels have different commodities and different prices. So bras, there's a name that came up, bras. Ooh, there's money in bras. You know, if you waited to this, it comes to thousands of rands.
Is that why we're getting a lot of taps being stolen in our homes?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Because they know. Yeah. You don't know. Yeah, you're just thinking you don't know. And that's why it's best practices. So we want people to connect with us at mzini.co.za. We want them to come and inquire. If they have items, or maybe they're doing a demolition, to contact us as your consultants. And let's discuss how this can be, an opportunity for you to get incentivized for your demolition or these items. We can do an audit. We can assess what you have, or you can tell us in advance because we're building relationships. And remember, also it's also who sees it as cash. So if I come and give you a whole lot of copper and I drop it at your house, Neo, you might feel offended. But if I drop it to someone who needs that copper, who knows what to do with that copper, now you're talking. Yeah, you're talking volumes and so forth. Yeah.
Oh, I understand. Thank you for these comments that are coming in. We're taking note of them. And those that are also connected on Telegram, you are able to raise a hand and ask a question live to our guest, who is Senzo. Senzo is a life coach and is also a coach of mzini.co.za. He's very well versed in issues like these ones, sustainable lifestyle. Last week we were talking about containers, getting containers, reusing them into beautiful homes. I've seen pictures all over the internet of how you can design it to your taste. I mean, I've seen like houses that if they were to be built with brick and mortar, that would cost a lot of money to do. But going the route of containers, it's actually saving you money, and also with the environment there.
Yeah.
So we're chatting about the environment, Senzo. How can best practices apply towards environmental care into sustainable living?
Just before I go into that question, Nea, I wanted just to put a disclaimer there to our viewers out there that container homes is not cheap. It's not cheap. It's not a cheap option. It's an affordable option. And we tell that because when people say, I was expecting so much and now I'm getting this amount. And then when we can take you down further process it to see why is it affordable?
Okay, in terms of to come back.
The what we are doing, the construction that we're doing, and the how we go about doing it. So people need to understand the difference. I'll get more detail with it, but basically that is one thing that needs to be put as a disclaimer. It's not cheap; it's affordable.
Okay. That's the question that came through there on Riverside. Tressa is asking, please explain the difference between cheap and affordable.
Yeah. So sometimes, for example, it's affordable because it's always almost like 3 times or 2 times cheaper than the brick and mortar. But also, what happens is that, and I'll get more details. I see the views there. It's cheaper because if you use an example, thank you for the example of a Polo.
Yeah.
A Polo is a vehicle that's cost about
VW
almost
Polo.
250 to 300,000 rand. You can get a home, a structure, not a home, a structure that can accommodate 2 bedrooms, a kitchen, and also an open plan kitchen, and also a bathroom and shower. So a bathroom, a toilet, and shower. Basically, you will get a structure you'll own. Yeah.
Hold on. That structure comes with them, or it gives you the opportunity to have those things. So
yes,
you just get a container.
It gives you the opportunity to have those things.
And then afterwards, you'll be charged extra for getting those installed.
It's dry construction that we are using, number one. Yeah, it's dry construction that we're using. So you're not going to have this heavy load of people coming in to do your house, things getting lost, this whole team of people that you have to manage. We do it all on our workshop. So in terms of return on investment, we are more quicker. We are more, in terms of quality, could be more assessed before it comes to installation. So it's much more easier way to do things. But now, if you are running a construction company that to do your work, you might manage that. We all have worked with contractors, and all I'm going to say to you, if you've worked with a contractor and they've done a building for you, and you still want to do that with them, that's great. That's great, and I hope we get more contractors that you like that. But generally, we know of what it is. It ends up costing you more. There's a lot of fluctuations that happen as well with a normal contractor. With us, we do everything in-house, and then we transport it to be on site. So that is also one of the things that we keep in mind. Also, the materials we're using, Neo. We use materials which are very high end. So anyone can do can try doing the container home, but they might use material that are very cheap, trying to save cost. We've been through that route. We're not going to ever consider it. That's what changes now our price range. Because if you want to do it cheap, make a plan and try and create an environment where it's there, it looks okay. It's not going to be sustainable, because what we are wanting to have is a sustainable product. So you cannot have these days a house or a structure does not cost some of the price of a Polo, which is about 250 to 300,000, some are even more. But we don't have those kind of, and it's portable. So there's a lot of differences in that way. And the return on investment is far more quicker. To build a house these days takes you 6 months. The structure is already done. It can take even longer. So I think the return on investment is much more better, but it's also affordable if you start looking factors, what you say, apple for apple. You will see that the portable container conversion or the box home is far more superior than a normal brick and mortar home.
Understood. I got it. I got it. Thank you for explaining that. So basically, all the Polos that you see on the road, imagine them as container homes.
So it's converted homes. Quite sad. Some people are quick to have houses, cars. They're quick, and it's good. Yeah. The cars, we need them because we travel to the city, we travel to our work destination. But for years, they are renting. They own nothing. And after 5-6 years, something goes wrong with your work, that Polo gets repossessed. So try and own something. Own a structure. We're not saying you might own the land, but own the structure to a point that if you want to move, and we're building as well, we're growing to a point that we want to move with our people. So we want to create areas where they can go to certain places and put their portable containers there as well. Yeah.
You talk about repossession there. So if a bank repossesses your property, and because you have a bond with them and you fail
Yes.
to fulfill the bond. With the containers, since now you don't have a business relationship with the banks where they can finance the containers. You work on cash.
Mm.
So does that also protect you as a consumer that possibly you have saved up the money, or you go to a bank to make a loan, not a
Mm.
bond, a loan, and then you purchase a container that's been transformed into a beautiful home, your dream home. And should you, which we're not encouraging, should you not be able to repay the loan, your loan is not attached to your home,
Yeah.
where you can still have something that you own, possibly even sell it so that you can pay off the loan.
Yes, yes. So our one of our the models that you're saying, that's the thing as well. It's a benefit in that way. Unfortunately, right now it's a good thing, but no one has access to finance. No one has access to
Yeah.
cash. That's a big challenge. Not everyone says, "Let me take a loan." Instead of paying every month 5,000, 6,000 rand to my landlord, let me take that money and repay back my home. But in 3 years or 5 years, I will own that structure. Even if it means that, can I ask maybe someone in my family, whoever, let me put my portable container in that place, and then I will pay maybe a levy to say I have it there. We must be open to have those discussions. And that's what we're trying to talk to our viewers. We have one of our customers says, they have a normal home mortgage, and they said if they can sell it, they'll be at a profit, because property is very good, and that's one way you can keep your wealth or keep your funds, your money, your hard-earned money, is through property. So what they said that they were planning to sell their home and move into a container home. And with that maybe excess of 300,000 rand profit, they're willing to start their home. And then obviously they want to modular, they want to extend and make it bigger with time, but at least they can willing to start the process. So what we're trying to say to people is that they must start looking at different alternatives. We still need banks because they have finance, they've got access to cash. And if it does happen that the banks are now open to invest, they will take it. If you cannot pay for it, they will take it. It's their asset. It becomes theirs until you fully paid for the home. So we will need them. We're actually busy with a case with one of the banks, the big banks here in South Africa, and they are considering to looking into this. So we're very happy about that.
Awesome. So let's go back to let's recalibrate and go back to the practices, right? So we spoke about saving electricity, energy efficiency, right? That we know about. I think that was the discussion that we had just before the show. But for the benefit of the show, maybe we can also venture back into it. So the practices that we need to get ourselves into doing in terms of sustainable living. We're talking about energy efficiency, sustainable transportation. We might talk about supporting sustainable food systems. Can we delve into that a little bit?
Yeah. So
let's
No,
let's
I
start
get
with
you.
energy efficiency.
Yeah. So I get you fully there. So if I can think of maybe conserving water. So what we do, we go through an audit. So where we can look at your current situation. So now you're a family person. Let's just say one of our viewers there, and we take them through an audit where they can say, okay, do they have taps? Do you have any leaks in your taps? We ask you a question. What about your appliances? What appliances are you using? We have a washing machine at our home, and this particular washing machine is energy efficient. It conserves energy. Some items we have in our homes without knowing, they do what, at the end of the day, it's a TV, it plays. But then is it energy efficient? What about the water, the rainwater? What happens to it if it rains? Do you have a plan? So we go through those kind of questionnaires, and that helps us to order to say, okay, what can you conserve in your house? And that's regarding conserving water. Things such as JoJo tanks. What grey water system do you have? What happens to the water that when you're finished doing your washing? Where does it go? So we those are the sustainable questionnaires that can allow you to practice best in terms of what you have in your environment. When it comes to your energy efficiency, do you use, is it normal lights or LED lights, bulbs for energy? We discussed about the appliances in your home, relooking at what appliances do you have. Because do you know, with energy efficiency, it's always about consumption. So if my iron takes so much and it's not, it's not an energy efficient, I will lose electricity. And many people, they've realized that going prepaid is far more cheaper. Yeah, it is. It might be like every month you pay, but it's far more, but it's manageable. It's sustainable.
Because you know what you're working with.
Yes, you know what you're working with. And these are the practices that we want people to apply.
Senzo, we lost you there.
Yeah. So
you back? I see. Oh, okay, you're back now.
Yes. Sorry about. And also this using of smart thermostats. So thermostats reduce heating and also the cooling of waste. So a thermostat, when it gets too hot, it will switch off. Maybe to for example, if you look at a kettle, it switches off. So we want, those are sustainable appliances that you can put in devices in your home. A few weeks ago, I got connected to a company that tells you how much water are you using. It measures everything for you. So, and it tells you how much water you've used, rather than depending on the municipality person to tell you. And I'm thinking maybe for a residential home, it might not be a big thing, but for people who are doing rooming, like such as for rentals and so forth, they need to measure those to see really why are we paying so much money for these people who are running car washes. All these are third-party service providers that can add value in terms of understanding what we have. Taking an audit, an energy efficiency audit. There's going to be a law in the next year. It has actually, a law has been happening about companies are in trouble. They need to have their energy efficiency standards. They need to have an audit and how much they have. It's something that the government is going to be implementing in terms of that. So those are discussions we're having for sustainable practices.
Wow. And then what about waste management?
Yeah, so then waste management is very something that people must look at it. Like, for example, avoid products with excessive packaging, because that will create a waste. We're thinking of donating items you no longer need rather than throwing them away. Donating them, that's managing your waste. Avoid products with, like for example, you think of compost, organic waste to reduce landfill, and use the natural fertilizers for your gardens. Now that is also waste management. Like for example, when you have stuff that you are cooking at home, putting it somewhere, like as a fertilizer for your gardening. Now, gardening is going to be, and I'm saying it right now, those who know already, is going to be a very important part of our lives. So now, those who are not doing it, I know we live in urban areas, but gardening is something that is recommended. Highly recommending. And we are actually having this discussion with some of our clients, how they can go about doing it. How sustainable, even those in urban areas. Yeah.
Sorry, we lost you. We lost you there when you spoke about gardening.
Yeah.
Those who know knows. That's where we
Yeah.
lost you there.
I'm saying that those who know that gardening is going to
Mm,
be the way to go,
yeah.
and especially those in urban areas, there's urban gardening
Mm,
methods that we use. Right now, we've got, I mentioned, I think, last session or part when we were talking about container homes. We've got a system here together with an agri consultant where we use
mm.
container homes. It can be urban or rural areas, uh, and they can do urban gardening, and it's very sustainable. And we're having people who are very interested in getting to that, but also your little small gardens at home. Um, this is going to be a way. These practices, by the way, really needs to be implemented. These are good, especially for those who have families, those who have young ones. They need to learn this because right now we're depending on this shop, this retail group, and sometimes we are not getting what we're supposed to get. In fact, not sometimes, we're not getting the quality we're getting. We all know there's chemicals there, there's
Yeah.
pesticides that they put in. So remember, we need these vegetables. It's part of our life. This is how we survive. So now, if we don't get the proper ones, it's going to have an impact in our lives. And that is something that we need to take into consideration.
You're talking about gardening. Also being one of the most important things that
Mm.
we will actually need to consider. In fact, think about it harder from now on. Can we use the containers into? Can the containers be turned into greenhouses?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Without a doubt.
You know why I'm thinking this? Because in the urban areas, the suburbs, these concrete jungle areas that we live in, we don't have enough space.
Mm.
Some of us we live with other people in one yard where we don't have space to even plant. So if one had to have a container like that and get a site and then turn it into a greenhouse, that would make a good business, isn't it?
Absolutely. You know, you have 365 days of
Hmm.
of products coming out because it's more controlled. And
Yeah.
you know, we're not experts in farming, so we work with someone who is an expert, and we enjoy that because there's some
Yeah.
complexities. Being an expert, it takes time. So, and it also takes a dedication. So we like to connect you with that person, and then we know that obviously you will need a certain premises for this, and that we offer.
Mm.
But now certain, we've got customers who are doing piggery. Some are doing chicken, these little small chicken that they're growing up, or 1 day old or 30 days. So
Mm.
they need certain type of lighting, certain type of food. Some chickens do eggs, and we're having those kind of conversations, and we are working with those kind of customers and businesses. Yeah, or coming up as an SME to start looking into supplying through your sustainable container homes.
Awesome. That cause one question to mind: biodiversity, promoting biodiversity.
Okay, sorry, can you come again? I just lost you there.
Yeah, I'm saying that brings to mind a question about
Mm-hmm.
biodiversity.
Mm-hmm.
How can we deal with that?
Yeah, so we need to create things that like that will create an atmosphere. And then as a person who is in sustainable living,
Mm.
we want to create an environment that will allow natural creatures. One will
Mm.
have birds coming to their house. Do that when you wake up. It's healthy. Have birds
Mm.
singing and all. We want to create those environments. Butterflies in your house. If you look at this picture behind me, it's something like that. Create an environment, plant trees, and now you're promoting biodiversity. Now you're letting things such as bees. Obviously, you need to be careful with bees because some areas people are can actually it can get dangerous if they are what's the word if they what's the if they yeah if they are not if they can some can die if they're stung by a bee. So things like that we need to be just careful where we use them. But certain areas we can have things like that where there's honey, natural honey.
Bee farming.
Yes, like bee farming. I know people that are living around this area here who do that. They come into areas and they just help with the bee farming and so on and with the honey. So biodiversity is to encourage sustainable habits, methods instead of chemical pesticides. So we want people to use natural and plant trees and don't use pesticides and chemicals and so forth in their environments.
Trust has something interesting there. She's his type. That's a great idea. Something to think about. Here in America, we have community gardens in some neighborhoods. Do you think your government would be interested in working with you to have a container community garden?
Absolutely. We just recently wrote a letter to one of the agriculture organizations, and they were interested in this innovation. And and they've got forums, they've got groups. So it's all about just starting, having the discussion, having people who are advocates, people who want to make the movement. And that's why we say to people who are interacting with us, don't look at us as like we're just doing this and we're providing this. Look at us as an organization that is into sustainable lifestyle. And when we say lifestyle, is that we just approach lifestyle in a different way. We're not driven by how society thinks, how the media portrays a lifestyle. We are content by using the same T-shirts we are using and then if it's long, it's clean, it's reliable, it's sustainable, we'll be very content with it. So, but also we want to live in an environment where we don't look, as a person who's not in touch with reality, but we also want to say we know why we use certain things, our needs. So getting the community involved is something that really we look forward to get involved with. And America is doing so well with this. There's farming communities where people can buy in they can do their groceries, which are natural from the farms. We have something like this in South Africa, but it's done by certain individuals who go far away and go buy veggies and they go only to the market. But now we want to have like subscriptions on sustainable foods that are really organic coming from the farms. But we need numbers. We need people to say, I'm interested. Let's look at ways. Let's audit ways. And that's why we need coaches or people to mentor people, say, okay, there is something that we've started. Let's see if you can support it. We do well with this because we do well with wine.
Our internet is misbehaving today.
Is it? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I say that...
let's find ways, yeah.
South Africans are doing well with this because they do subscription with wine. But they're not doing it with sustainable products like food. They rather keep their wine coming in and so forth, which is not a bad thing because wine is also natural. But we want them to start using things like veggies and get into community, as how people in America are doing it in other countries like Switzerland and all these countries who are practicing sustainability, who are working hand in hand with farmers and so forth.
Very interesting. I really fell in love with this topic because it reminds me of one type of lifestyle and which I wanted to ask you if that's what we're talking about. When we talk about sustainable living, does it compare to... I'm hearing myself. There's an echo there. I don't know if you hear.
Yeah, no, I hear you loud and clear. It seems to be fine on my side.
Yeah.
You can go ahead. Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to think, is minimalist lifestyle the same as sustainable lifestyle?
Yeah. Neo and the viewers, being minimalist that is part of sustainability, because it means that you are now very conscious of the environment. You are conscious of what you have, and you're using whatever you're using. It's something that it's best used. You know, if you're using that particular spoon every day, you don't need 50 of them, because you got 1 or 2 spoons. If you need to, in your house, you know exactly, I can only accommodate up to 5 visitors. So what you're going to do, you can have 5 spoons. So that's a minimalist. And sometimes it's scary, like, why do we have to, but really, let's be honest. We need to know our needs. So a minimalist is like that. And it starts with needs, and also what we can even look out for. Who can we cater for within that? Because we also want to be kind people. We don't want to say, like, you know, now we are minimalist. We're not having hospitality. We're not widening out to people because I can only cater for this. No, we're considering it, but then we are looking at how it's going to be sustainable. So minimalism is sustainability.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that in these times that we live in, when we're talking about achievement, you have achieved, you are there. We're equating it to a lavish lifestyle. We're equating to I don't want to name brands, but you know, there are certain brands that when you have them, you have reached the mark. So that thinking, I think it's absurd, or it's been thwarted in that we want to grow, we aspire to become these type of people because we have these type of things in our possession. So a mind shift is very important, and I really appreciate that you have come to this show just to tell us what the lifestyle that gives us a peace of mind should be like. And I appreciate what your company is doing for the community, that you're promoting this minimalist lifestyle or a sustainable lifestyle that everyone needs. We don't need a lot of things, you know. There are more wants than the needs.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
So sorry, like now I'm in agreement with you, and also we don't want to a point where we don't highlight good brands, you know, with quality. There's a reason why there's a certain brand, and it gives you a certain feel, and there's a certain outcome. There's nothing wrong with that. But now we want to be balanced. To be balanced in how to do, you know, really, I'm buying this particular item. It serves me in this way. I've recognized the quality it has. And then I can get 5 of these items, but at the same quality. So it's just to measure things. And sometimes the brand, it does represent quality. But we should always be careful that we don't just choose brands for the sake of what we choose them for. We can have a brand because we are associated with certain type of quality, but that's the only why we're using it, for that particular need. But not because we want a status. And that's where we want to watch out for the status part, because the status is not fulfilling our needs, it's fulfilling what we want to get out of the situation.
That's true. Senzo, thank you so much. Teresa is also intrigued by this topic. She wants to promote you so much in the US. You can read the comments there that she wants to connect you with people who are doing community gardens and all sorts. Thank you so much, Teresa, for tuning in from the United States. We really appreciate it. We see that this show is being global, and we're reaching a lot more people on this platform than we would have, you know, on normal platforms. So your time has come to, has caught up with us, and we really appreciate the comments from Teresa, Lungisani, and everyone who did so. Everyone that connected also on Telegram, we really appreciate you. We just missed your comments. We missed your voices actually on the show. But yeah, it's something that we can think about. Let it simmer in, and I'm sure after the show, when I have posted the recording, you'd have more questions to ask. You're more than welcome to post those questions on YouTube and also on the other platforms that we will be posting in. So, Senzo, just to recap our show, what do we take away from this?
Yeah, that we are unaware there are best practices globally, and we need to revisit those practices. We don't have to reinvent the wheel, start something new. The world is already practicing it. Here in Africa alone, our great-grandmother and great-grandfather, they've been practicing it because they didn't have urbanization or commercialization happening, and they were not affected. We need to start revisiting that and also implementing in our lifestyle. Best practices, if you have them, you are now able to even shift into a container home, into a small, a simpler lifestyle, because you're already doing best practices. So it goes in hand. It is no use trying to get into a different environment, but your lifestyle doesn't dictate to that. So it must go within. So that is why we need these best practices. We need to know why we do them. And I'm telling you, we don't know some of the practices we're doing. We don't know, and because we're not doing sustainable practices.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. We really enjoyed chatting with you for the second time, and I'm sure this would not be the last time that we have you on the show. I mean, this topic is so diverse. We have a lot to talk about when it comes to sustainable lifestyle. So we've talked about the practices that you can follow. And last week we've seen what sustainable lifestyle can do for us in terms of the living areas, converting our homes, our containers into homes, offices, and all the like. So we do appreciate what mzini.co.za is doing for the community, and we will sure to follow you. And as we come to the end of our show, we also want to thank everyone that is faithfully connecting to our show every Monday at 6:30. Please spread the word. If you haven't subscribed to our channel on YouTube, our channel is NMP Talk Show. Please do so. Subscribe, like, share with everyone else. The more people know about this show, the better, because now we'll be reaching out to a lot more people, giving them information that they can use on a daily basis. My name is Neo Morapedi, the host of NMP Talk Show, and this is how we're signing out this evening. You need internet? You need